Good morning and welcome to today's live stream. Sorry, my wife's vacuuming this morning, picking up that dog hair, so I didn't really want the mic on the entire time. But we'll look what's happening in the market. We do notice that the SPY is dropping down below that daily expected move, so we can pay attention to if that creates some kind of reversal signal early on today. We are gapping outside of that move, so that can be ugly. But if we're able to create something in here, it might just be a good signal. We'll pay attention to that throughout this morning, because if it's going to form, it most likely might form by this morning. We'll see if it forms by the end of the stream. Those daily expected moves for today, 591.52, and you notice we are outside of the bottom one, 584.78. So this is where we do have a 68% chance to land in this zone. But if we're going to see something uglier, well, that's kind of what you need to happen. So if the reversal signal does not complete, does not confirm, then it is not there. Now, are we seeing something that can add some validity to this? Well, we talked about seeing the opposite signal on the SPY, and what do you have? You have the opposite signal on the SPY, or on the volatility, right? Opposite signal of the SPY on volatility at the same time. So you're noticing you are seeing those signals pop up. So this is where we really want to pay attention. If this starts to confirm, the SPY starts to confirm in the other direction, then that would mean, hey, this could be a stronger base. We might actually see that 2-hour pop up. Very, very good. Yeah, DJT was a good trade. It still could be, right? That level of 30 was a call wall, so we'll see how we're going to react. It looks like we're getting a retest of the 5 to start out the morning, but some great profit to be had there, right? Some great profit to be had at those levels. As of right now, that 30-minute has not crossed back down, right? If this is still going to continue to be a prolonged good move, then this 30-minute will not be able to roll over. That's all I really want to pay attention to. If we start to lose the 5, we can head in that other direction, maybe to dip down one more time, or maybe this is going to fail, right? So we'll pay attention if that can hold up, but there is a call wall at 30, and the 5 is right there as well. So if the 30 minutes crossed up, hey, this thing can still run. If you just look back, if you look back at the big run in the past, right, if we're going to have some kind of massive run like over here where it's going to just keep going over time, well, what we're going to notice is this 30-minute curled up, right, and it never really curled back down until it was at, 44, so big gain there. So that's what you really want to pay attention to. You didn't curl down until you were 50% up. So we'll pay attention to it. We'll see. Overall, it still should be printing some money out there. Sorry, just wanted to get that so it's like kind of leveled out. AMC, I did notice this one trying to come down a little bit. GME started to come down a little bit. This is where we have to start looking at daily charts, right? Or at least I think it was AMC very close to crossing. If that daily does cross and that does confirm, that would mean downside is the most likely option there. We'll see if that can turn around if that does come to fruition. As we can tell, the 2-hour is still near positive territory, but it's starting to go negative. So it means if this 2 hours not able to whip around, if we're not able to make some kind of 30-minute signal, then we would more so be seeing downside. Now, the 30-minute hasn't bounced in a long time, right? You're kind of just stair-stepping down. So this would be interesting if we can actually get some kind of bounce first and then curl back down to create those reversal signals that we've seen in the past. We've seen those in the past right here at this low. That's when the big run-up started. This is the divergence that we were talking about in the previous YouTube videos, just talking about, hey, we did get a reversal signal. That was the strong base, and we ended up going up over time, even with this big dip down. So very cool. Very good stuff. We do notice, I think it was SMCI seeing a big upward move. No, not a lot of reversal in here. I mean, you do see a 30-minute on the RSI, but that's kind of hard to see. The 2-hour, I believe this was the signal to pay attention to. It was getting that downside move. You see the 2-hour divergence pop up, a little bit significant on the RSI, very significant on the MACD. Crosses up into positive territory, actually down at 1870. Now you are 9 points higher. So fantastic little trade there. This is an area where resistance can come in. This would be the filling of a gap. This would be where you would want to kind of see that create some kind of little consolidation, maybe to go even higher. So we'll look for that. That 2-hour divergence, has it turned up the daily scale for the daily swing trade? Not just yet. It can today. But if that daily does swing up, you don't necessarily have the best reversal signals down here. You have a flat one down here on the RSI, and you're far away from the center line. So all of this could just be a retest of 37.65, somewhere in that area. And then watch if that does end up rolling back down, or if it just keeps going like this for a little bit and rolls back down, right? Kind of like we did in the past. Good reaction, failed. So we'll see. It can obviously reverse around because you do have like flatness down here and you have a little one in the near price action, but am I convinced this is an absolute like floor and we're going to go all the way up to these highs? Most likely not. You'll need a little bit more consolidation or a stronger base to really get that to reverse around for a longer period of time. In my opinion, it's always possible, but that's just my opinion, especially with Nvidia. Actually, Nvidia earnings could be good for this stock. We'll see. One I was looking at was Palantir dropping down to lower levels again, going to test that weekly expected move almost another time here. So you are going down to a very key level. We'll see if that can hold up or if this is some kind of consolidation to actually break down. So we'll look for that because that weekly expected move is right in that area. Maybe get that retest. That's one that looks interesting to me. It did give you the 30-minute signals that said, hey, yeah, one more blip up, and then weakness came in again. So weakness came in here, weakness came in here. We'll see what happens with the rest of the day. I think it's important we mainly focus on the SPY today, really just trying to see, hey, do we find that support down there, and do we see volatility turn down? So I'm going to get volatility up on my other charts real quick. Let me get volatility up on my charts. All right, got those up. Alrighty. There. Alrighty. Going over to volatility, just paying attention if that is actually going to confirm. We notice the SPY might have more time to carve this out, guys. We might see this actually cross, see that come down, not just reject. If it's going to reject, then maybe volatility will give us that hint. All right, so right now I'm going to look at the 30-minute chart and show that that is, hey, that's still turning up, right? We are still elevated. We have not crossed down yet, confirming that that can come down and confirming the SPY most likely will head in the upward direction. We do have some time in this. We'll see what happens. We're going back into the daily expected move as of right now. We notice the Q's trying to make a higher low in the buy zone. So we'll see what happens with this going forward. We can notice that Tesla trying to drop down to lower prices. We're just seeing if this remains controlled and then is able to curl up into positive territory. Let's go look over at Nvidia. That thing is positive. We notice that is trying to go up to a key level. Very, very good. Some kind of consolidative move would be okay here, right? To really gain those buyers in liquidity and then see that move to the upside. We'll see what happens going forward. This could just be a simple, hey, 2 hour curls up into positive territory and good things can happen just like the last time. Now we do notice that earnings is right around the corner. We have that tomorrow evening, so just watch out for that. Going back over, just mainly want to look at this. This will be a big deal. We gap down into the buy zone. Very interesting behavior there. We'll see if this thing can reject from these levels. As I do see volatility on my other screen starting to head in the downward direction. So I'm going to look around for a possible trade setup. Let's go look at some stuff here. I'm just going to look on my other charts while we stare at the SPY. I might have found it. Might have found one that's worth the time here. Let me see. I can head lower. So that's not where I want it to be, and we're just reacting down from the 5, so nothing there yet. unless that turns back up. IWM is one. IWM is one that has cut the low, giving you that point. And so if that can reject and take back these levels, take back the 5, that would be signals of a strong base. Just wanted to point that out. But you notice this about this move, okay? We are not down by the weekly expected move. So there's always the opportunity this wants to drop a little bit further, fill that gap, and then turn up into positive territory, right? Because we can gravitate a little bit more towards this. And this can be a decently significant move. Maybe we see some kind of wicking or something like that, but we'll pay attention. This right now has not crossed, but you have cut below the price action. If you are going to see this head down lower, well, there's a gap right below us here, right around that 224.30 price point. And the SPY starting to just really get on that daily expected move. Let's go see a lot of things setting up some rejection, possible rejection divergences. Okay, so that still has room. The AMD could be one later, but I just don't like that one too much. 127. Meta trying to set something up very small, very tight. Ooh. Microsoft. Just these things need to head down towards weekly expected moves. If they do head down towards those weekly expected moves and set them up, it just makes the trade look even better. So we will be talking about those over on Patreon. We'll give an update video if those things start to happen. Look at this. EJT went directly down towards the 5-day moving average and then saw some support from that level at this moment, but you did cut below 30, which is your call wall. So I'm interested if the 15-minute or 30-minute does reload here in some way, or if we just take off past 30, we keep touching 30. Good stuff there. Look at this for Mara real quick. Just wanted to peek over at this for a moment here. For Mara, we do notice coming below our point of 1873, seeing some resistance again there, but you do notice there is a 30-minute signal here. You do see that there's a 30-minute upward divergence on your MACD, just slightly, so not the best, and just slightly there on the RSI. So not the most significant in the world, but it is there for Mara, which makes me want to go look at Bitcoin and see, you know, and the thing about Bitcoin is the 4-hour able to turn up? Still nothing yet, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. You're really looking interesting here. You're looking like some kind of drop could happen, but if that 4-hour does just turn up, you could see some positivity. 4-hour swing trade, that's what it looks like there. SPY still fooling around in this zone. There is EJT able to take back 30, very good. Where was it? I think it was Microsoft, looked interesting. Really, you would expect these things to dip down just a little bit lower, but that move in the morning, right, that gap in the morning kind of affects things. See if that thing crosses. What has this seen all week here? Points. Look at this one. Let's look at the pricing room. Interesting. See what happens with that. I do like the look of Mara. I just want to see if that actually does confirm, because that would suggest you're going to maybe go retest something like $23. Really need to take back the 5 in order for that to happen. Qs, we just noticed that has not reached the daily expected move yet. Something we can look for is the Qs to go down to that daily expected move and see support, make the same signal as over here. Remember, the same type of signals as over here, which is the Qs can make that higher low, and the SPY actually makes the divergence. So we'll pay attention to something like this still in this area. Jackal, thank you so much for the $5. Turn down on MSTR. Let's go look at that. We're just looking for opportunities. We're looking for weakness. This is not going to be a great look. Now, this can be affected by Nvidia earnings in some way. So we just want to see, is the signal that we're looking for there, right? We want to be cautious with these things before Nvidia earnings. And you can see the 2-hour divergence is there. Do we have a 30-minute to give us a hint of like when that could actually take place? Well, you do have the 30-minute divergence holding across pretty well here. Even though it's a little spread out, you don't see much loopiness there. But you notice in this move right here, you had to create the divergence first. So even if this does cross, it can go down to that 5, just like we did. Well, it can go down to that 5 and react up. You notice we get that support from the 5 plenty of times. We can do this and then see one more curl up, and that's something that can happen. We can notice that probably on the 15-minute and stuff like that, you're probably seeing a divergence in the near price action. If that would play out right now, then you would say, okay, that 30-minute has a good chance to roll, and I just want to be aware that that can get support down in these areas. But if that's too much and that crosses the 2-hour, most likely you are cutting below the 5 at that point. Well, BAKKT, that one was, you know, the random one, right? This one did not have the reversal signals necessarily. It just had a curl up into positive territory for the 30-minute before this happened, right? And it really didn't even go positive until the big move. So you didn't really have great signals here. If anything, you had the 2-hour saying, hey, I'm preparing for a swing trade, but then that thing just took off, right? That thing just took off and it just keeps taking off. So we'll see what happens with it, but is there some kind of signal here? No. At this point, you're more so looking for the opportunity to see another positive trend continuation, which means I'm looking for this to go like this, reconnect with those moving averages in some way, or just hold up and let those moving averages catch up. See if that can cross on the MACD. If so, hey, curls up into positive territory, you can see another good move. That's something that can happen again for DJT. It can remain in this, and you notice we're touching that 5-day moving average. Okay, but I just want you to see how good news that was for BKKT. So most likely this continues. At least we'll talk about that continuing until we see that curl down on a 30-minute, a 15-minute, anything like that. If a 15-minute does curl down, hey, you could consolidate in these areas, curl back up into positive territory, and see another good move. So we're just paying attention to it. Something that I want to more so look for is maybe a good signal right now. That's why I'm paying attention to things like IWM. If IWM can go down a little bit lower, I think that would be nice. The SPY, can the SPY go down a little bit lower? That would be nice. Can the Qs go test that daily expected move? You have a lot of opportunities that could set up by the end of the day, right? We were thankful for DJT because this, it's like, yeah, we're still waiting. Is this going to be a 2-hour swing trade, or is this going to pull back? Right now, you're pulling back again, seeing if you can get that double bottom or something. So what we want to see is, you know, this is forming. And when it's forming, you can be like, ah, man, I'm just waiting. And you notice that it's popping up on a lot of charts. If I go look at Microsoft right now, what's popping up there? The same thing. If I go look at Google, that's not popping up, right? But it could have turned down. Where's the other one? I think it's popping up even on Meta, coming down to that lower level, trying to get some kind of double bottom. AMD, if that rolls over, that could go make the double bottom. So you're seeing a very similar thing. Now, if these all start to reject, you just pay attention and see if that 2-hour swing trade is there. What's the other one? Wasn't Apple. Was it Amazon? It was Amazon. Amazon was the other one. You notice that came down to a lower level. We reject. Hey, that might be rejection divergence right there, right now. This could just be a simple curl up for the 2 hour at this point, right? You're close enough to positive territory that can start a whole new trend. So that's what I'm paying attention to for the most part. For MSTR, I'd really be looking at that 2 hour divergence, by the way. I just saw that note again. If that's going to perform, if you're going to see a hint, you might get a little 30-minute pullback because you're starting to violate that already. You're going very flat, so most likely that's just like a small pullback or something. You're hoping to get the same signal as here for some kind of drop. Okay, you're hoping that this goes like this or moves sideways and then pops up one more time and you see that. And hopefully you've made weekly ranges for the stock. I like the look for weakness. It's just that weakness has not confirmed yet, and we could still see these 30-minute pushes higher, right? We could see another 30-minute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom to the downside. So we'll see if that 5 push higher can come or if this is just going to violate all the divergences. As of right now, Nvidia seeing upside, going to test that 5-day moving average. Do we have a really, really strong base here? I would still say no. And this could be all a reaction up to here, and then it fails, and then this is the real opportunity. But earnings, God dang it. I hate doing the technical, like looking for things, you know, trying to see what this thing would do for a setup, right? Talking about the setup that could potentially come, and then being like, oh, there's an earnings there. That sucks. Mara, notice that one. We talked about that this morning. If that 30-minute would curl up, you have a pretty obvious sell zone, pretty obvious zone where you would want to maybe consolidate in. So that would be a good opportunity there. If we can get to this zone, that would be nice. You are seeing this at lower levels. You notice Monday you opened up with a gap, right? So this is the end of the week, and you notice Monday you opened up gapping down. We reacted back up to that level. Most likely, I don't have weekly expected moves, but what, 10%? What is this? How big of a move is this down? 16% down is probably touching a weekly expected move. But I don't want to go with probablys. I just want to see if that thing turns up into positive territory. TLT with a great move. So finally, we're seeing some good things here. The 2 hour was able to cross back up yesterday. A little bit of consolidation. This is trying to take back the 5. We'll see what continues from this. Can this curl up the daily chart? That's the big thing. Did it curl it up again? Yeah. So now you have confirmation yesterday of the daily divergence. You have confirmation again today. If that can hold at higher levels, maybe we go fill the gap first. We'll see. TLT sometimes does move a little bit slower, but we'll notice that TLT might be carving out the base right here, right now. So if TLT is about to find a bottom, would you say that the same correlation is going to come in where they're kind of negative to the market a little bit? So is the SPY going to find a top in some way, at least maybe a corrective top? We'll see. We can always see that difference for a little bit of time. 30-minute for the SPY trying to get out of our buy zone. Very, very good. But we still have time. Good morning, FrostFox. How you doing? And Maurice, I saw your comment. You were like, yeah, you kind of nailed that DJT one. Yeah, it was a good trade. You're always thankful for just a good trade. And then you say, hey, okay, that's a massive move. I'm going to take one contract, leave the runner. So I just have no risk in it. And then we'll see if that can curl down. Looks like you want to look at a stock I have not looked at before. Quantum computing. Okay, awesome. You're getting that 30-minute to curl up. You're a little bit negative, so watch out for a lower high if that's going to see a good move. You are creating these little shelves and fall. Could be a shelf to fall again, so just be aware of that. The 2 hour has crossed here, and I can notice that because the 30-minute is negative, but you notice that the 2 hour was able to cross, and this could just not be done. All right, this could be a 30-minute pop up, 30-minute drops back down, then the real opportunity presents itself. Right, the 2 hour still has room to get to that center line. So it is more likely to make a lower high on that 30-minute and then wait for the opportunity later. But, you know, these things, they're moving really quick. So that 30-minute by the center line, it could be an opportunity. I would just want to see more of a confirmation on an hourly, as that is by the center line. So if the hourly is able to confirm this move up, you take back these levels, then yeah, we most likely will see a test of the high and go make a new one, or at least a test of the high at this point before you want to consolidate to make a new one. Uranium, yeah, there is a argument. There is an argument for a lot of stocks like this one. The daily is turning up, and I was looking at a few, and the daily swing trade looks like, hey, I might be on here. So the daily swing trade could come into be important, right? We could actually cross up on the lagging indicator, the MACD, and then see that positivity. That's why in swing trading, we talk about mainly 3 reasons to take a swing trade in the course for the swing trading course. But we can say, hey, if you're confident and you manage risk correctly, you can always see that on 2 indicators or 2 reasons for the trade and then make a decision. Palantir was one that was interesting because it went down and tested that key level again. We'll see if that can hold. 30-minute curls up. We should still expect positivity. We are in a positive trend, slightly going negative. So we'll see if that produces more downside, but for now, looks all right. I do want to check on this too. This morning, IonQ able to make a good upward move here. That's good. You did kind of come down to a key level, so you got to pay attention if that rotates down after testing that 5 again. But curling up, positive territory, looks pretty good. I wonder if we can go make a new series of highs here for IonQ. Very interesting. I might pay attention to that later on. DJT now down 9.73%. Hasn't crossed on anything. We'll see if that crosses by end of day. Gold finally finding that bottom outside of a monthly expected move. So this was one that was really really heading down fast. And we said last week, we're like, sometimes when you head down fast in gold, you know, global banks like that, and they end up taking some kind of buy. But this is outside of a weekly expected move, just so you are aware. So that could need to consolidate for the rest of this week before you see the next one. But maybe it sees something crazy because that 2 hours turned up. If the daily can turn up, if I don't misclick, if the daily can turn up, that would be a good sign. That would be a good sign for gold. GLD, that is. Mara, we still got to see if this actually confirms. We have the 30-minute here showing some divergence. This looks like some slowing in momentum. If that is going to produce some possible positivity, well, then you're going to have to curl up on that MACD. See if that comes to fruition. We see that AMC, GME both dropping down. And let's go check back in on our buddy over at the SPY, which is seeing some more weakness here. So the SPY is seeing some more weakness here. That could cut that low. And then I would pay attention whenever the SPY, whatever level the SPY is at, if the Qs go to that daily expected move. Because the last time that this was able to happen was right over here. And that daily expected move, I believe, was down in these areas. And then the Qs were still heading towards it. And then they actually hit it. The SPY cut its and then made that divergence for us. If the same signal pops up here, it should be a decent one. Then we have two very obvious levels if all of this does set up, right? If all of this does set up for the Qs or it makes the higher low, we could pay attention to 510.47, 518.66. Those are the 2 levels that I really want to watch. This is where TLT does make me a little worried, because if this 2 hour is going to curl up and see a good move, if this 2 hour is going to do this at any time and see something like that over time, maybe going into next week, if we can consolidate in certain areas and see that move higher on the 2 hour, and we create this, well, at this time, we see that TLT is trying to base out. And we see that there's that difference between the markets and TLT right now. TLT heading down, markets heading up. So the difference there might, the negative correlation might come into play where that actually shows weakness after TLT gains some good ground. We'll see. As far as it goes for volatility, the 30-minute is still what we are paying attention to. You can see that is very, very close to crossing. Very, very close to crossing, but not crossed yet. So there could be more work to be done. All right, let me go click over on my other charts real quick. Looks decent. What is this one? We just got to give it more time. We just got to give it more time. We got to see, is the next bar going to curl over these MACDs on all of these charts? You notice that similar look is popping up everywhere. So there are opportunities out there. I did want to check on this. Oh, okay. 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 Ooh, let's check the housing real quick. I'm leaving you guys on the spot. I'm just looking at other stuff real quick. Housing sector really looked like it was trying to carve out a base. It failed. It failed hard. That is not a good sign. Now you do have this level here. You just don't have the divergences to really convince you like, hey, this can be a super strong base. If you did have, I mean, if you really look at this, by the way, HGX, you're just noticing, see all the 30 minutes in here? Those failed. And your signals kind of told you that was going to fail right here. And then you see the further drop. So you do notice that that's going to lower levels. But I wanted to point out on the daily scale where you are at. You're at a pretty key level. So if we're going to see some kind of basing out here and turn back around, that would be a good thing. So we have to wait and see if that's going to happen, because that could be just extreme negativity. You do have the opportunity that this is in some form of consolidation at a key level that it's created, and we'll see if that's able to fall through that. That is a bad sign. But if this 2 hour can gain some ground, that's what you were hoping for, right? You're hoping these 30-minute divergences were going to lead to that 2 hour turning up, the 30-minute turned down. Now the 2 hours pointing straight down. So you see that rejection, not a good sign. You're just riding that 5-day moving average. And then you can see if you head to lower levels and create some daily divergence down there. Interesting. Let's go back over to the SPY. Just notice that 2 hour is rejecting at this moment. And the Qs have not reached their daily expected move. So, you know, as we're getting closer to it, we do gravitate to these levels. That's as low as the market expects the SPY to get, as the options market expects the SPY to get for the whole day. And we are at it first thing in the morning. Where is this? Oh, my freaking elbow just slipped. Let me pull up this. This is the one I want to watch for now. This IWM, weirdly enough, IWM making the decent signal already. Even if it rejected here, it would be a good sign if you could take back these levels. But the key thing with that is TLT as well, right? When yields do drop, people like the small caps. It's usually a good thing for small caps. We've seen a difference in that recently. So we'll just see if a good reversal signal does pop up here. I don't mind that look though. Man, Nvidia earnings could mess everything up though. All right, looks like we got some good stuff up over here. Let's see what this guy's doing. Okay. Sounds good. Let's see. Palantir is starting to gain some ground there at the weekly expected move. Exactly is. Did that go directly down to it? Almost. Just barely above it. The last wick down did. We might have more time in this. And just keeping my eye on this one. That 30-minute can confirm up, which it is suggesting that can happen. The RSI getting close to crossing that center line. just to really show it to you again, there is some forms of divergence here. If we can spread that out so it actually matches the price action, you can see that that is there. This is a slightly higher point over here. We'll see if that comes to fruition. And then you see that on the RSI is very significant there. So if that can cross that center line, this can cross up on the MACD. We can get above the 5 here. I'd kind of like this one. We got to see if that actually lasts. SMCI just seeing a pump right now, 30%. All right, guys, I got to use the restroom really badly. So I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and then I will be right back. All right, someone did mention Microsoft right before I took off. I just wanted to go check that on my other charts because Microsoft could set up the opportunity. It could fall through the floor, right? But it could set up the opportunity. Now, the thing is, a lot of these moves aren't at weekly expected moves. That's important there. They're not at weekly expected moves just yet. They can head lower first. We're just now crossing for Microsoft on the MACD, and that RSI, that'd be pretty tight, okay? So if I go look at Microsoft, sorry, I was running down because I wanted to hang with you guys. We just noticed that the 30-minute divergence that could set up here, right? If it goes deeper than this, you might violate it on the RSI. That would not be a great sign. That would not be a great sign. But we'll see. Maybe it's just going to cut the low just a little bit, and we'll just have one reversal signal, not the other, and we get like a lower high. Or maybe it just falls through the floor, right? We're just waiting for the opportunities. Right now we do notice the SPY trying real hard to cross down on that MACD. Seeing if we could reach down to lower levels. Ooh, can we create a reversal signal today? Can the Qs cross on this and get down to that daily expected move? And then whip back up into positive territory, kind of like right over here. Get that little lower high. A lower high is just as good. We kind of talked about that with DJT. IWM, I still want to keep my eye on you. I kind of hope IWM goes down just a little bit further. A little bit further for IWM. Some. There. And perfect, actually, that's kind of what I want. There. All right. Now we'll just wait. Be nice and patient. Look at the SPY. See if that's curling down. If it's curling down, something ugly can happen. You are going below a daily expected move. You don't have to make divergence, but if the trade sets up for us, we're going to be paying attention. Let's see what the, where is the, what are they trying to say today? Equity futures lower pre-bell Tuesday amid fears of Russian escalation. This is where that black swan could come in. If that's going to happen, we'll see. They do not escalate things, then people might see that as good news. That looks like the topic that they're going with this morning. Alrighty. Awesome. I just want to pay attention to this guy and this guy. All right. We are good on the other charts for right now. That's pretty good. That's a good sign. All right, cool. Starting to wake up, so I want to look at some things. I want to see if any of these actually did roll down yet. Nothing really rolled down, so I'm gonna look at chat for a sec. Sorry about that. Yeah, Microsoft. It's a tight one. That's the problem with Microsoft. You're not necessarily there. What's good? Everything's good. Everything's fan-freaking-tastic, honestly. Oh yeah, dollar. Let's go check on the dollar. Now, the dollar in the market moved up in tandem for a little bit. We're noticing that the dollar is pulling back while the market does pull back. You notice we're gravitating towards that 5. So we'll still see if that 2-hour can cross up. But you did have the little divergences at the top there for the dollar. Not on the MACD at the same time, right? Not on this point right here. So that tells me, hey, this 2-hour can make another run up. These aren't the best reversal signals. The 4-hour most likely was able to cross, and that's right by the center line. So I'd more be paying attention to weakness for the dollar in the next curl up, right? We see the dollar go like this, then fail. That's when I'd more pay attention for the bigger, I would say a daily pullback maybe for the dollar. Which, if we're going to be correlated with the market at this point still, well, we can look at the market and see, hey, this has been heading up, the dollar's heading up. Now they're both experiencing weakness. If they both curl up, we can see good things, right? We just want to pay attention to if there is a reversal here, right? Because the news can scare you all they want. Something bad can happen. That's why you always manage risk. But if you see a good reversal signal, it's usually a pretty good sign, especially if it pops up on multiple things, which it is. So you see it on IWM, like Dow. You can see it a little bit on the Dow, still there for the MACD, just not on the RSI at the same time. So this could all be lower high being formed soon, right? We'll pay attention to weakness for that. You're seeing it in IWM. You're actually holding that divergence starting to cross at this moment. You're seeing it on the SPY, right? Trying to get some rejection down towards the daily expected move, back in our zone for a possible double bottom. The only one I would say is the Qs. Are they going to be able to reach that daily expected move early on today? Or maybe it takes some time, right? Maybe we go fill this gap, turn back down, then turn up. We just want to wait, be patient. Yeah, we can go peek over at GME. The key thing here is, well, you're getting bigger and bigger time frames to cross down. So you could be in bigger pullbacks as it goes. If you're just going to see this as a blip and the 4 hour is going to turn back around, you're probably going to see the 2 hour curl up first. That's why I'm just really paying attention to 2 hour curl ups. You can see AMC starting to go negative. So it's not the best sign in the world. Now we can see that AMC, right? And I'm paying attention to both, and you can look at signals in both to see. What we notice here is you're trying to make something on the RSI, but it's not there, right? There's no real divergence there. If I blow it up, you're going to see that's lower. So this reaction could be a lackluster one, and then you make a reversal signal for that 2 hour later on. That's something I want to pay attention to. But for the most part, if I just look at the 2 hour and I say, okay, when that curls up, we could see a good move. That's the main thing I want to see, right? We kind of broke those lows on the way up, made this one, then we made the new high. So it's just, are we going to see this create a low here and turn back up? And same thing goes for GME. Now GME holding those lows a lot better throughout this move, so it can react down still, turn back up into positive. That's all we're looking for. Some kind of easy, keep it simple swing trade. Let's go back over to SPY, not necessarily the 2 hour, but the 30 minute. And one thing we can look for, like micro, we can talk micro for a second here. If we're really looking for that 30 minutes turnaround, there might be some kind of small form of weakness in the 5-minute or 15-minute. So what you'll notice is you do see the weakness in momentum here, and then shortly after that, we actually confirm the 30-minute. It can be a good thing to be like, okay, if I see this consolidate, break through, and then towards the end of the day start turning back up, and I see some kind of move like this, and I just see something small in here, that can turn up the 30-minute. So that center line and cross back down, and then that does something like this, and then that turns back around. That's when I'll probably be back on my computer, right, later on in the day. See if that happens. Qs, you can see not even dropping down to the daily expected move just yet. So you're waiting for the 30-minute confirmation, but if I don't want to stare at it all day, that's what I would do personally. IWM, similar thing, right? Because IWM was crossing on the MACD, so maybe this does just turn right back around and reject and get back above the 5. That'd be great. But we can see on these little 5 minutes how flaggy we're looking at this moment. If it starts to go more, that'd be interesting. But we could just hold like this a lot of the time throughout the day. And then you see that 5-minute curl up, curl back down, and then curl up into positive territory. And that would be a good signal because you're still a little bit farther away from that center line. We've seen moves from here that tried to go positive but failed. So we'll see if that sets up. I just want to look at the micro throughout the day so I'm not sitting here staring at it. And then if the 30-minute crosses up, I'll check on it periodically. I can just, do that. But yeah, really just want to see if I get a hint on the short time frames. Tesla. Let's go look at Tesla real quick because Tesla, I think it originally saw that dip down here, and now we're seeing if that can curl up one more time. The key thing is the 2-hour. If that 2-hour is showing positivity, you have a good likelihood to go test the high, go make a new one. There is a problem with Tesla making that new one. Now, this has seen crazy stuff over and over and over again, but your weekly expected move is not up here. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that. If you wanna get it, it's on Patreon. Join the Patreon, it costs you a cup of coffee a month. You can get those weekly ranges, pay $7. See if it's a good option for you. See if it really helps you out if you're trading some of the stocks that we're looking into. And we also do an update video. I'm gonna bring those back. So I did it last week. I'm gonna do an update video again this week if some stuff sets up. That way we can talk about these ranges, because if Tesla does this, that's a little worrisome. Especially when you've already seen this 30-minute do this. If you create just a small divergence right here even, that won't be a good thing. Because most likely you are going to see this consolidate a little bit more or something like that, or even drop because you are outside of a weekly expected move. But if this does this, and then Nvidia earnings comes out, and that's good news too. I mean, it will be in an unexpected area, so you got to make sure to wait for confirmations. That's exactly what we're doing from the SPY, from IWM, from Mara, right? Still looking over at Mara sometimes, just going, hey, this still hasn't confirmed, right? This still has not confirmed. It's great that it's taking back its 9 on the 30-minute, but we still have that lurking daily 5 right above us. So we could reject from that at any time. It's nice to take that back, maybe see that consolidation, then cross up, cross back above the 5. But we're waiting for confirmation, which was the main point of talking about that there. Yeah, so Tesla, I'd just be like, hey, simple swing trade to the upside there with the 2-hour, but just be cautious because that weekly expected move is not over dramatic. That big gap up. And yeah, I mean, obviously the DJT play, Maurice, was good, but that's what happens when you see the weakness in momentum and you get good news. That's what happens. Right? That didn't have to happen. It's just the good news made you hit price action a little bit better, a little bit faster. And now we're reacting down to that 30 area. So it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up if we just try to carve this out as, hey, just strictly a double bottom, or even, yeah, that would be a double bottom on the SPY. Usually you want to cut that low though, right? You want to take out those stops, cut that low a little bit, take out the stops, then swing back up right as people get bearish. So we got to see if it all confirms. I think it is just, I would say, consolidating. You want to just see, is that consolidating here for a move down? And that would more so be, I think, a 2 hour able to cross, and you just kind of see this remain in a little range here, and then we break that range. That is more what I would see as 2 hour being able to cross up, be lackluster, cross back down. But if this is going to create the base, which seems like what we need to pay attention to first. This is what we need to pay attention to first is this some kind of base? You're reaching down into the buy zone, you broke back out of it, you reach down into the buy zone again. Can you see that prove itself? That's gonna be a big deal. Can we get back above these levels? And the VIX, okay, good. Thank you for reminding me to check on the volatility. We do notice that is very, very, very close to crossing there for volatility. Now notice this about volatility. If I go to a 5 minute, what are you going to see? Double top divergence. So it's giving you the hint. Does that mean it can't reverse back up? No, this could be some kind of reversal to head back up. So if that 5 minute turns back up, I should expect a little bit more negativity in the market. But you can see how the 5 minute divergence shows itself, right? Or if you 15 minute will show itself. Boom, right there. So now you're saying, okay, there is weakness that can roll over the 30 minute. Now that's just more to get the timing down. I'm not trying to take, sometimes I'll buy 1 or 2 contracts. I won't buy a bunch. I won't put a bunch of money behind something because I think the 30 minute's going to roll down with divergence with the 5 minute chart. I'm going to wait and make sure that that 30 minute is curling down before I put more money behind something. We notice right as we talk about it, volatility, you're just seeing that 5 minute. If it curls up, we can still see some negativity for a bit of time. See that? We're using our level of 1683 again. That's why I pay attention to it. It's just something that goes pretty far back. It's a level where we see reactions. Yeah, Renee, hopefully that was helpful. I think the 2 hour swing trade is the main thing for Tesla, Renee. I hope I'm saying your name right. I gotta throw away some trash here. SPY moving? Yeah, so SPY should be dropping down from that. And like, this is the cool part, like the daily expected moves. If you don't believe in these weekly daily expected moves, like just stick around for a while and notice how many times we're gonna react to that and it ends up being something very key and then we take it back, right? So just make sure to pay attention to what's actually happening here. The 30 minute can cross, and that would be bad. If we're going to just reject, then we're most likely going to see volatility turn down on the 30 minute. GME is going down. Yeah, you're starting to curl down on bigger and bigger time frames. So big things happening there. Still look good. Oh, let me see here. Oh, nice. Okay. Bookmaps did email me again. I might look into that. My dad really wants me to do it. My dad's been using Bookmaps. Or Bookmap. Pretty cool. He finally figured out what that was. He's like, have you seen this? You can see bubbles where option flow is. And I'm like, yeah. GME stressing me out the last 4 years. Yeah, it's going to stress you out forever, but not necessarily forever. It's just when the problem actually comes. When I would, okay, and this is my theory on GME. It's just a theory. Obviously, I'm paying attention to signals for good plays. We paid attention to the fact that this saw something crazy, saw that dip down, right? We closed outside of a weekly expected move. That puts short sellers under pressure. Then this week we closed outside of a weekly expected move again, and then we saw some good upside. But the main thing here is, are the signals good? Is momentum saying the signals are good? Well, up here, we saw that cross down, so it says no. We retest right at below the 5, we cut it a little bit, and then we curl up into positive territory. Boom, good move. So is the signal good here yet? No, it's actually the opposite, right? We saw the 30-minute divergence. We kept hitting that weekly expected move over and over and over last week, and then we head to the downward direction. So as you keep curling over bigger time frames, and this is where I wanted to talk about what I think could actually happen with this, they need something to change. They need a shakeup, or else the problem can continue. So something that could happen is this daily turns down in some way, and then we start to see it gain some ground, and then we head into 2025 and we see something good, right? Now, AMC would set something up for you. So I wanted to talk about it. A lot of people would get very, very bearish on AMC if it does what it's doing today. It is curling over a daily MACD. Where is that MACD? It's really, really close to the center line. So if that continues for one more day, you're going negative. Okay, so if that would happen, you can test this low, maybe even go make a new one. And if you went and made a new one, people would say, man, this thing is dead. And then you see it do that. And then you see this MACD go like this and go like that. And you see the divergence down there. That's what we'll pay attention to. I just think this will more lead into 2025 than 2024 right now. That's just my assessment. Good morning, Martin. How you doing? Palantir had a sell-off and it went directly to a weekly expected move. And it pretty much did it again today, right? We go down this wick. Do you know where it went to? Hey, it is cutting the weekly expected move by about 15 cents. This one is about 30 cents away from the weekly expected move. And now what are you going to do? Curl up into positive territory? Maybe you give one more trap, or maybe we're in a whole new series. Maybe this is sideways. We're in a whole new series of upside, right? But if it goes like this and fails, that's when I'd just be a little bit worried that something bigger is happening. I do believe Palantir, and I've said this for about a week, I'm like, at these levels, Palantir most likely needs some kind of daily pullback. What would cause a bigger pullback in Palantir? Well, maybe it's that corrective move we were talking about. So we'll see. But do I think Palantir's a terrible stock and gonna plummet to, you know, $20 or something? No, I think it more likely gets to the center line and curls up, and I think that would be your opportunity. And if I just zoom out, I can just be patient and wait for that. It might take weeks to set up, but if I'm patient for it, patience can be rewarded. So we'll see. As of right now, 30 minutes here for the SPY, still trying to gain back some, right? Still remaining in this area for the 30-minute, not able to confirm down just yet. Let me go look at my other charts just for a minute here. IWM is trying to do it. How significant is this? Okay, it's still a little bit flaggy. Yeah, we're just looking too flaggy on these moves. If you want this to reject, it needs to reject. You know what I mean? You need to see a bar. If we stay controlled, that's not going to be the best sign. That just means, hey, this 5-minute can curl up in negative territory and curl right back down. Right? If I really look at this and I go, oh, the 5 minutes curling up, is it curling up like this or is it curling up like this? And then just going to go like that. And then the real opportunity is later on. And maybe that opportunity doesn't even show up. Maybe you make a triple one. Maybe a lot of things can happen, but the more you stay controlled and consolidate in this area, the more and more it's going to make me think, ooh, if we don't see that bust up, take back the 5, I'm going to be a little bit worried about this throughout the day. So that's what I got to say about it. If the 2-hour curls up, hey, swing trade, awesome, love it. Looks good. SMCI, if you did want to look over at that for a moment, just that's a crazy upward move. And most likely what's going to happen is you're going to reconnect with this 5 in some way. Is that going to be a shoot down, cross over this MACD, then curl up once you get to that 5? Or is this just going to slowly go like this? Maybe we react down, we react up, we react down, we react up, we react down, and then by that time, this has staggered its way up to here, and then you can use that as support to head higher. So 30-minute, great move. 30-minute might pull back, right? I'm looking for the opportunity. Even though there were wonky little, there's a little 15-minute here, you had 2-hour, I believe 2-hour divergence across the way saying that daily can turn up. So there were hints of this play, and the 2-hour crossed up at 1870-ish, 1860. So the opportunity was there. It's just, you know, me personally, if I don't see fantastic freaking signals when a stock is down this hard, I ain't gonna do anything, all right? But I'm looking for the opportunity to come. Kind of like the same thing with DJT, right? That's a great upward move. Notice you're overbought. Look, that 30-minute is not exceedingly high. So if that just remains curled up, hey, you can keep going, right? This could all be retesting in some way. But it's the same argument. If I'm going to see something, well, this 5-minute might have already pulled down. If that curls up, hey, I can see another move. If it creates a divergence, that might be the real retest. I just want to wait for the real opportunity to show itself, not just jump into something because it's seen upside. but the 30 minutes curled up, that's good. 2 hours curled up, that's good. The daily looks like it needs a swing trade, that's good. We might go over that. Actually, I think that's the video I wanted to add to the technical analysis course, was like if you're just looking through, like how to look through certain stocks and see if you want to look at that one for an opportunity, for a good move, a sizable position play. I think that would be good. I might even work on that today and just put it out there, because I think that's good, because DJT is just such a good example that I really want to make it. You see how that daily's by the center line. So immediately I should be looking for consolidation. I should be looking for divergences to see if that next push higher, the decision here was up. Okay, if this is going to consolidate and see another up, I want to see good signals, and that's what you are seeing down here for DJT. We just noticed that that could, you know, need to reload at some point. IWM still relatively controlled there. 5 minutes starting to catch up to this area too. You could even just keep doing this. That 5 minutes starts to catch up, and then you revert back down. I do have the 5 minute chart over here. Let me go check in on volatility, right? If that thing's still turning up, ooh, not turned down. 5 minute, not crossed up though. So if we're gonna base out right now, then this 30 minute might cross in the next 15 minutes. We'll see. Oh, there's a good bar. There's a good, better bar for IWM. A little bit better. You notice the 5 minute, we're still holding this, but if I really look at this, it's starting to kind of go like it was like this. We're starting to test outside of that a little bit, so we'll see. Interesting. See, that's different. That's a little bit different. Still holding it a little, but it's starting to touch that top. If that can burst through, hold it, get above the 5, that would be a good sign. Got my freaking headphones. They're supposed to be expensive headphones. They keep fucking up. I'm not buying this brand again. The fuck brand is this? Oh, I like that brand too. Look over it. Let me just pop over to my other charts just for a brief moment here. That crosses no good. This crosses down, we're all right. No, we're good. Then this is the one I'm paying attention to. Pretty good positivity there. Oh, now we give it up. Nice. But IWM's still holding it. Very interested to see if IWM, because it actually has the lower point, if this is going to reject strongly. The good part is you're buying time for that 2 hour to get really close to crossing. So the 2 hour swing trade might just be like, that'd be great. Then you have some very obvious levels, 234.91. So lower high is still the most likely thing for this, according to the weekly expected move. You would need to consolidate in some way to head higher here for IWM. But it is suggesting that can be a good move. Nvidia earnings will really shake things up, man. DJT does not want to lose that 30 level. It keeps holding at it. Oh, GME flipped back to positive very aggressively too. Now GME, if that can, man, that was kind of random there. But if this can, you would actually have something on the shorter time frames. Is this going to be an absolutely ballistic, insane move? Could be, could not be, you know? Could be, could not be. So we'll look into this, but for the most part, this could just be an hourly turn up, and that's really close to the center line. So I guess, yeah, I guess if that's going to turn up on the hourly swing trade, you would say, hey, a test of 3104, or at least to test these highs, maybe go make a new one. That would be the opportunity for GME, as that did create some 15-minute little signals in here. Let's see if AMC is seeing the pop with that, holding the same exact signal in here. Yeah, why don't we see if that confirms? We'll get that order ready. If that confirms, that can be a good thing. We could see an actual reaction here. We haven't gotten a 30-minute reaction. We haven't gotten an hourly reaction. And now we're getting a nice wick below 437. So I kind of like that. And GME is holding up pretty well. So if GME just turns up on the hourly scale, that would be a good sign. And GME is moving. If you really look at this 5-minute, guys, GME is moving right now. That thing is moving. If this would leak into, like if this isn't going to give some kind of lower high and that 2-hour crosses, that's where I think you have the real opportunity to say, hey, this has a great shot to see a test of 3104. You'd probably say the same thing for AMC. That one even went negative a little bit. So AMC could get all the way to $5. They were really panicking, right, when we were getting towards $5. I think $5 is the level that they really start shitting the bed. We know that on AMC, we might see dilution in some way towards 566. Which is a good thing for the stock. Mara, we're looking for if that 2-hour can curl up into positive territory. 30-minute here, if that can cross up, it would be a good sign. God dang it, somehow a fly got in here. Get off my screen. What the heck? We never get flies down here. Our door is fixed. Alrighty, SPY. Once again, looking at the micro side of things, just seeing, are we going to actually curl down? Are we going to curl up? This is good. It's pretty good. But if I wonder if we look at this, are we just controlled in more of an upward direction in some way? This is what I'll pay attention to. If we could break that a little bit, I'd be happy with it. But you can see on like a 1 minute, if I go into this on a 1 minute, this is kind of fun. That's why I'm going to do it today. It's just fun. But we can see where that obvious key level is, okay? It's right here. It's right at our daily. But you notice how we would break down left. Ooh, we break that. We get the right shoulder. Ooh, that would be how your 1 minute most likely does behave. But if we're going to curl up, that's fine. We just want to wait for that 2-hour swing trade. But it's just funny to see that on the little 1 minute chart. Okay, that's good. This is great. We might actually be rejecting here. We'll see. Ooh, hopefully you don't just fill a gap, turn around. I'll keep the 5 up on my other charts. Oh yeah, I can check over on great move from GME. My goodness. Still going at this moment. Checking on the 30-minute for volatility, you got 7 minutes left, and that's about to confirm. So if that 30-minute does confirm, it's suggesting we have a little bit less probability to go make that base. You can always see that flash move down. Maybe we still go create it, crossover, but for the most part, volatility, if that crosses down, that's saying, hey, I'm showing weakness and we're about to see a 2-hour curl down on volatility, which means we could see a 2-hour move up for the SPY. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I think you might have more time in this, but I'll let you know if that does cross down. Just so you can see it real quick. Look at that thing. Look at that thing coming down. It wants to. It wants to. But is it going to do it right now? Oops. Let's look at this. Strong move, dip down, pushes back up, dip down, pushes back up. So yeah, I wouldn't feel confident until we close above these levels on a 30-minute, maybe even take back the 5. And then the Qs have not reached down there yet. We did get moves like this, and then it fell back down, so we'll see. IWM looked pretty good. DIA looks pretty... DIA not holding the divergences as well. I think we remember pointing that out. 30-minute here is trying to cross for volatility. Doesn't mean we can't make that next move down. It is suggesting, though, that we are going to make some kind of move to the upside. That's what volatility is suggesting. Nothing's ever 100%. That's what volatility is suggesting here. How's everyone's day going? I'm going to read chat in just a moment. I just want to make sure to be focusing on these charts. I don't want my ADHD to take over, you know? We want to figure out if we're making the stronger base, and that's my goal for today. Nvidia is moving. Now, you have to be cautious with Nvidia moves. It's before an earnings. That can play out either direction. But if you would curl up this 2 hour, it's suggesting, hey, I'm going to go higher, right? But what were we talking about from Nvidia a long time ago before earnings came into play? And I know earnings is right here, but what were we talking about in this move higher? Well, you're holding that divergence flat across, so it makes sense weakness comes in. You're holding the triple divergence still on the RSI. You're holding it on the MACD. But a lot of the time when you're this far away, you want to go make that divergence in the near price action. So something that I would just pay attention to is if this sees a good move, right? Even if it's after the earnings and we see that good move, watch out after the earnings. And hopefully that doesn't form, right? If you still want to be bullish on Nvidia, just this won't form. It'll violate all that and start a new series. It'll start a new series of moves. We just want to pay attention if it actually confirms after earnings, because that could be some kind of earnings trap at that point. CGC and Tilray. What is CGC again? Oh yeah, Canopy growth. Now this is interesting because the 2 hour you have some rejection divergence. You can see that down there, but it's very flat. So what you want to see is, let's zoom out to the daily scale first. Okay, that one, we see the divergence. So that tells me I should be paying attention to that 2 hour. That's very good. This is good timing, Alexander, because you see this. Now, has that produced yet? Well, the last one played out pretty well. Now we're creating another one, and it's more significant. So if that did turn around, that would say, hey, we can maybe make a pretty damn good move here. Maybe we go up to fill this gap at 620 or something like that. Okay, so do we see the reversal signals? Well, you have a little bit of rejection divergence, but is that very strong? It might be one that says, hey, maybe I do something. Maybe this 30-minute convinces me more. Maybe this 30-minute on this cross up right here said, hey, yeah, we can head higher. We're testing that 5, right? And it says maybe I can take something, but make sure I can manage the trade throughout. This is good. If it curls down on the 30-minute soon, that would say bad, and maybe the real opportunity is just below, right? Your timing can be a lot. And for this, since it's a daily divergence play, I would, you know, me to myself, if I see a daily divergence, I'm taking a longer out option because I want to ride that thing. If it's going to be good for some time, look out for divergences, make sure everything's going well. But I don't hate the look. I mean, the easiest thing to do, right? The easiest thing to do is just sit here and be like, all right, if the daily crosses up, I can invest or something like that, right? That's the easiest thing. Because right here, you saw the blip, and then you get this cross up, and you go, oh, okay, daily divergence. And then look what happened. If you got in just at the daily, you're in at 405, and it ended up going all the way up to 568, and then at the top, what did you see? You see a 2 hour divergence. 2 hour divergence there, forming. Now that could have been cup and handle, but it didn't play out. It gapped way down. So once I see these type of things start to form, I go, hey, this was a great trade. Thank you. I'll take my money now. Does that help you out a little bit with that one, Alexander? Now I will check maybe on the other one later on towards the end, but I just want to make sure I'm watching what's happening here. Are we filling a gap? Going to see a rejection? We're reacting back to those moving averages. This is all good. This would say rejection is on the table. If that can hold for 21 minutes, I believe that is saying, hey, I can reject here, but I really want to see if we can start closing above this. I really want to see if we can close above that 5. VIX is starting to collapse, which is a big deal. That's a big deal. You only have a minute left. So that is suggesting that we are going to see higher prices for the SPY. That's what this is suggesting right now. Maybe I'll even do a little play on this or something on a different chart. I gotta look at the SPY though. It's a great little grab down there if this happens. Everything is moving. It is. We should do a pull, Max. Maybe I'll do that in a second. All right, I gotta look at my other charts for a second here for a possible trade. I don't think that'll be a great one. Give me a second, guys. Someone's at the door. Oh, my trade like water shirt came in. All right, so important to note here. Now we can look at this smaller sizing here, the smaller time frame. As the 5 minute gets close to that center line, we just want to be watching it. We just want to make sure. You do see the little probably 15-minute divergence down here at the lows. Okay, you see how that's good. Doesn't really cut the low, but you can see how big of a difference that is. So what I want to see is, does the 5 minute curl back down here for a brief moment? Do we fool around up in here and then curl down? God, too many people showing up to my door lately. I hate it. Volatility is going to confirm that. And then watch out if we get a little reaction here still. We're still in this, so you can always see. Great daily expected move. One thing starting to come off a little bit more, I believe, is IWM over here. You see how that's coming off a little bit more. Once again, paying attention, if we create a little 5 minute signal down here, that's something I will pay attention to for IWM and the SPY. And maybe the Qs need that 5 minute to go down to a daily expected move. We'll see. If this is all just a pullback to go higher, that's awesome. I'll see the 1 hour, 2 hour swing trades. Most likely a 2 hour is the confirmation we want. Let's see this 5 minute. Let's zoom in on this for a bit. Let's watch it on a short time frame for once for fun. 5 minutes don't like to play out all the time, so I don't like them, but I think it's fun to watch a little bit more bars moving. It's great that we got rid of this going on. That's great. But now we got to see if that can hold. Because you haven't even filled the gap from this morning just yet. I hope it's not just some kind of liquidity grab, shoots it lower. Actually takes out the stops at the lows here. Did it? Might have. Usually you want it to violate a little more than that. SMCI still moving pretty strong there. All right, you have possibly a 5-minute double top for SMCI, or a little pullback, maybe a 30-minute pullback. Oh, solid, solid, solid. Keep going. I'm down. We already made the double bottom. Mara found a nice little shelf there. Hopefully that holds. All right, what are you guys looking at? Yeah. I don't know what's going on in my house right now. We got people knocking on the door. I got a fly in my office for no reason. We've got, well, maybe there is a reason. I don't know. Maybe one of these guys farted. I don't know. But, and then we got the dogs barking because of the guy at the door. But hey, my sweatshirt got here. I made myself a custom Trade Like Water sweatshirt, and I'm excited. I made the logo and everything. I'm like, ooh, this looks clean. I gave myself an early Christmas present. Well, too late to get in calls. You want to more think like, is it? I mean, really? Is it? Or is this when we should start be thinking about it, right? If we do that, that would say, hey, that's got a good likelihood to go through. It's got a good likelihood to test this high. It's just that would take you out of a weekly expected move. So can that see positivity for a bit? Yeah. But has it confirmed at all? No. So is it too late? Your RSI is not even crossed. Your price action is not even above the 9 just yet. It's testing it. So I don't think it's late. It's just you have to realize the risk that you're way at elevated levels. You don't have the reversal signal, so that should make you feel pretty good. But yeah, it just depends on your trading style. Claudio, hey, I hope you're doing well too. We are doing just fine. We're just seeing if what we were talking about, now it happened very quickly, but you did form that little double bottom. That's why we're looking at 5 minutes, just seeing if this can hold, seeing if this can really go positive, or if we're just going to fill a gap, see that fall one more time, allow the Qs to go to their daily expected move. I like this on the 5 minute today. I think it's fun to look at. Welcome back, Hummy. Yeah, Jackal, every single time someone comes to my door, it does sound like a home invasion. It does. So I got the two big boys that lose their mind. They're like, no, don't come in here. Meta and BA calls. I don't hate that. Let's look through those real quick. Let's look through at least 2 of those, because 2 of those we really follow. Meta, I don't hate this play. I don't hate it anymore. You've made the stronger base. You've really consolidated in this area. Where's the 2 hour at? Well, it's a little bit into negative territory, so I have to be aware of the lower high. But overall, that's saying I'm trying to make a strong base. I do like that. And if everything proves good, then you're going to see things go up. And if nothing curls back down, then you don't have to manage a trade, right? You don't have to manage your risk. It'll just say, hey, I'm curling up. Let's see if we can go maybe fill a gap. 575, 576. I don't mind that. Microsoft is one that I'm a little bit more like, you know, this is cutting that low. Oh, actually it wicked back up. So that's a good thing. Now these aren't at weekly expected moves either. That's a key thing too. But so you can't use that as one of your reasons. Doesn't mean you can't find enough reasons for a trade though. Look at that 30 minute. If that would whip back around, wouldn't that be a nice thing? It'd be nice. Now that's a big gap. Let me look at this 5 minute. Well, the 5 minute's actually not too far away, but this is still flagging in some way. We need to see that reaction kind of like the SPY did, right? We need to see that reaction, or else you run the chance of going like that for a brief moment and really faking you out, and then you see the upside move later, or you don't see the upside move at all. At all, yeah, not a very good thing there if that would happen. But if it would turn around, it might be an opportunity. It's just not seeing this. You need this. Yeah, TNX is overall just like pretty much you want like you could look at 10-year yield, right, for this. But what we want to see is, does this have any kind of big reversal signals? It does. It's holding the same signals, and now it's very close. You're making a ton of them, which you do that a lot on yields. So you want to spread that out. Okay, the 4 hours confirming. I want to spread that out. What's the daily look like? Oh, the daily has a little divergence in there. So this says weakness can come in. You're seeing the opposite signal prove that as well. We're seeing TLT confirm divergence on the daily scale. That means TLT has a good chance for a good move here, right? It could reverse around and see some good stuff on the weekly scale. We could see this weekly turn up over time with this. Now you got to break through some levels, right? We got to break through some key levels here, but that is what is being said right now from yields. So TNX looks like it is at least going to fall, but we'll see. There's always consolidation. A lot of the time, TLT can take a long time to play out. Like this, remember, take up, take up, take up, take up. So once you do decide that uptrend, 2 hour swing trades, 2 hour swing trades. For now, we mainly want to be paying attention to this guy. Still a strong move. Still a strong move. Did we get to positive territory yet? No. So am I fully confident in this just yet? Not necessarily. If we can hold up here and then break through, I'd be happier. But if this 5 minute does cross down and we see that weakness come in, then most likely you're going to do something like that. That would be a nice little setup. That's when I might make a decision. Let me get out of this because that's not what I want to do. I want to do this one. If I'm going to take an upside play, I want this. Maybe. That's a maybe. Let's see if GME confirmed that stuff. Little 15 was able to confirm. 15 not able to confirm for AMC. So no reaction there just yet. Mara, is this able to confirm? Not just yet. The 5 minute is positive, just very, very flat. It's a good little shelf. We'll just see if that can produce the next move higher. All right, but we're mainly focusing on the SPY. Looking at volatility too, that has already curled down. I just wanted you to notice some of the structure going on here. This still could see a reaction, or more what it's suggesting is you're going to see downside for the 2 hour, whereas the 2 hour really close to going negative, right? It's still pretty close. You're not dramatically far away. But you notice we could make one more move higher, then fall through for volatility, which means one more move maybe down for the SPY. And that move from volatility might be even bigger than the drop from the SPY. And that's great, actually, because that means that people are taking a lot of puts a month out. Wishful thinking for the catalyst. Yeah, I mean, I would say if the 2 hour can curl up for GME and AMC, I'm pretty happy with it. That 15 minute divergence is there. A lot of the time, 15 minutes they don't play out nearly as much as 2 hours and things like that. So I still think we have time for this to see some dramatic drop into the end of the year or something. But, you know, I'm still going to play good signals if I see them. So I have kind of looking at AMC if that 15 minute does cross. Seeing if that hourly crosses as well. Still going to pay attention to the 5 minute here for the SPY as we're trying to go positive like right now. Right meow. Do we see resistance come in at the gap fill? Because that's a pretty good run. Daily expected move holding firm right now. That's great. Nvidia just looking for the 2 hour curl up, to be honest. And earnings is here, so I won't be actually, you know, I'm not looking for anything with Nvidia, to be honest. Exactly. Yeah, for GME, the daily is stronger. AMC is curling over a daily now, so you want to pay attention to that, Hien. You just want to pay attention to the fact that if AMC is curling down on a daily chart today, if that actually happens, which I'll go check on it real quick on my other screen. I'll go check on that bad boy, but if that does happen, that's not a good sign. You can get reactions. It's just if that daily remains curled down, you most likely can go down to like, you can go all the way down to like 350. That's where you want to really pay attention. If you do not have daily momentum with you on these skeptical stocks, these quote unquote meme stocks, which are real companies at this point, let's be honest about it. If you see that curl down, you want it curled up. You need daily momentum to see good moves for AMC and GME. You need bigger momentum behind you. Okay, so we go up to the gap fill. We kind of test that level, and now we're starting to fade off it. We'll see if that proves. You got about 50 seconds left in this bar. I just want to look at a 5 minutes, see if that can curl down one more time and create something for us. Hopefully that's a gradual pull down, so this kind of like lengthens out, shows us something like that. And then that would be a good chance for the 30-minute to curl down for a brief moment and give you a slight signal that says, hey, that 30-minute does have a good chance to curl up. That with the 68% zone would likely lead to a bounce, volatility already confirming the downside move for volatility, which says most likely volatility is going to subside. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to pull this chart up. Okay, that dipped down pretty damn low. That's good. Ooh, is DJT gearing up for its next move higher? We will see. Ooh. IWM really rejecting. Really rejecting before the gap fill. Not a great sign for IWM. We'll see if that still proves itself over time, but that is a pretty good bar right there for a 5 minute. Nothing to worry about just yet. Oh my gosh. I swear my other computer has an update every other day, and I accidentally clicked update for a second. I was like, no, do not update right now. Because if I need to make a move in the next 20 minutes, I do not want my PC to be updating. Crude oil showing some good signals. I mean, we can look at USO and things like that as well for anything. For this, you can point out the fact that this is trying to base out in some way. Right, we can see that that's trying to base out in some way. You even have a little divergence down here, so 2 hour divergence. That's great. Okay, can we curl up a daily scale? So that's all you need. Daily scale turns up. Hey, you've really gotten tighter, right? We've gotten tighter. We see these moves coming down. We see this coming up. We'd probably take this point right here. Yeah, okay, that's an important level. If that can break out, you can probably head up towards some of our resistance levels, 82.90, 80.50, 80.52. Which was a great resistance zone in the past. Maybe you see that shooting move, you pull back, maybe you're able to break through later if you go into a positive enough trend. So yeah, not bad. You have the 2 hour signal in there that says this has a good shot right now. Just want to make sure to manage the trade. If that 2 hour rolls back down, not good for the time being. That could easily break to the downside. SPY still trying to react up to the 5-day moving average. We'll see. QQQ filled the gap. QQQ definitely filled the gap. But I'm looking for, we're pretty much where we started, just a little bit up from where we started, 0.08%. Looking good. Looking good. We want to see if this is starting to curl a 2 hour. I still want to see that 2 hour curl up because that's the one that's close to the center line. So if this is going to be a move that can potentially test this high, or at least come fill this gap, I'm going to see that 2 hour turn up probably today. And then I would be a little sketched out if that went boom, especially if that happens before Nvidia earnings. Most likely that would take place after, if it's good news, that is. Nvidia, strong move, 2 hour, now you're getting the signals. RSI, price action. Now it's saying, I want to go test that high and go make a new one. The only thing that's going against you here is the lagging indicator, but that can happen on the next bar. We'll see. This could need to consolidate before it needs to head higher, right? Good stuff, though. Good stuff. Like I said, if we can hold in this area, I would like that. If we can move sideways here, I would think that's pretty good. Tesla. Ooh. Ooh, that's a pretty good rejection from the previous high. Yikes. Amazon trying to give it to you. Good rejection there. You can easily see that on the 15-minute, how that's really close to the center line. Pay attention to how you can get screwed. AMD, that one's crossing over on the 30-minute. We'll see if that produces more downside or if that can whip back around, because that's about to complete in about 30 seconds. Let's see if we can get rid of it at the end here. Let's see. 30 seconds left. Can you get rid of this blip? If it is just a blip, awesome. Turn right back around, buddy. Bitcoin? Yeah, we can look at Bitcoin in a second. I'm gonna go get a fly swatter, I swear. Let's see what this looks like. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it did cross, but we'll see if I can get rid of it pretty quick. Yeah, the 2-hour divergence, it's just not on your RSI. That's my problem with it. It's not on there. You can see that very obviously, right? You can see that on the MACD, great. It's fantastic. But because we don't have it on the RSI, I would really like it to make that stronger base. You don't have it on the RSI. If you want me to blow it up, you can just see the previous point here, much lower. Much lower. Okay? Doesn't mean it can't be good, right? As long as you know how to manage risk, it's always a fine thing to, in your strategy, if you know how to manage risk, then you should feel very comfortable with trading, right? If you're very good at managing risk, you should feel comfortable with it. If you're not good at it yet and you're still kind of practicing, crazy things can happen in the market, so it's good to practice. That's fine. But if you're good at it, you should feel confident in plays, as long as you have that 3 to 5 reasons, just like we discussed in those courses, just to make sure. I'm sorry, what'd you say? Hi, Lucas. Can you please do a Thanksgiving special? Lifetime Patreon for $150. I guess that would make sense. Makes sense. I'll have to think about it. Maybe we'll do a Christmas special. I'll have to think about it for a little bit. I just like I'm someone who likes memberships, especially when they're cheap like that, because you can come in, you can come out. You can go in, you can go out. Oh, I'm going on vacation, or I won't be able to trade for the next month. Okay, let me cancel this and save that little bit of money. Or maybe I'm living abroad or something like that for 6 months and I won't be focused on trading. I have a big job going on in a different state or something and I won't be able to focus on trading too much. Okay, awesome. I can cancel that for 6 months. That's why I like it. Jari, what's the T? Well, we're finding out, with AMD, we were seeing, are we going to see that 30-minute divergence to make a stronger base? Because you only have a divergence on the MACD, not the RSI at the same time. But it's great to see people pointing that out, Onda. It's great to see you pointing that out. Just make sure you're always focusing on, is it on both of my indicators at the same time? It can play out, but just know how to manage risk, especially on plays like that. SPY, we're seeing if it's going to fill this gap and turn back down, because the 30-minute, you did go down and touch this point. That's fantastic. You're getting a rejection divergence as of right now. We just want to see now. Something I would really like is, do we get the confirmation on the 2-hour? Do we get that confirmation that takes us above the 5 and we see some good price action? Or are we going to take more time with this? Are we going to flatten out? Or are we going to make a little 5-minute divergence down here, actually cut these lows now that there's probably an obvious stop loss place right in this box? Maybe they take that out, and then that's able to whip back around. And then you would get the obvious 30-minute divergence at the same time as the 5, and if that could produce, it would be really close to the center line if you see some flash moves here. Now, that's a pretty good buyback, though. That's a pretty damn good buyback. That was pretty good. So this is going positive. So I'm really looking for, does that consolidate and then head higher? Because that would convince me, okay, they already achieved the goal. Modified your handle a little bit. All right, nice, Ian. 96, same as my brother. Yeah, I'll think it over. We could do a poll one day and see, or we'll do a poll on Patreon and see if people are interested in it. If enough people are interested, we could probably make that happen, or at least do like a discounted annual subscription. I just like the monthly one because it allows you to get in, get out if you want to. Interest in lifetime, Muhammad? Okay. I'll have to see what I could price that at. Because we're just getting started, folks. Isn't that crazy? This channel's only been around for like 16 months. 16 months or so since I posted my first video. So thank you guys for liking these videos. It's been a lot of fun growing this community. Good stuff, good stuff. Is IWM still showing it? No, it's actually given that little bit of flagging. Just want to see if these little things cross. Octavian, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Please say hi to Octavian in the chat. Yeah, and it's nice to have a routine with trading too, isn't it? It helps me out too. It makes me look around a little bit more, which I really enjoy. Let's see if we can get 25 likes. I was locked in from the first video I saw. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate that. GME bounce off of a lower trend line at 25.64. I think it's going to retest it. Let's go check on GME as that is rolling back down. We noticed that the 15-minute here was confirming divergence. This is why I don't like 15-minute. It's just because a lot of people pay attention to 15-minute, and then at the same time, it's like that's like the least likely to play out. You see really wonky stuff on 15-minute charts. Really wonky stuff. You see crazy stuff. 30-minute, you'll see crazy stuff, just a little bit more smooth. When was the last time the 50 crossed the 200? Well, you see the 50 crossed the 200 here. So if you want to look back, the 50 crossed the 200 here, nothing played out, but you're seeing these big moves with it and you're holding above it. That's good. That's good. So as long as the daily remains turned up, you always got a shot. But you crossed the 200 a few times. Now, the time where you spiked above the 200 was more in these areas before the big move. So it happens, it's just lackluster in these areas. This one is not lackluster. And it's starting to whip back around, right? They're starting to point back to the upside. So actually, they've been pointing to the upside on the smaller ones for a bit, but now that 50 is rolling around, that 200 is pointing a little bit more up. It's kind of nice. As long as that daily's turned up, you always got a shot, right? Daily, 2 hour, and 30-minute. As long as those threes are turned up in positive territory, it's got a shot. And then you have to manage risk. You really have to be managing risk in stocks like AMC and GME, because AMC is doing this still towards the end of this video. Just have to hop off in a moment here, but you're just noticing that AMC is crossing down on the daily, even with that little 15-minute signal. Cool, but the daily is turning down. That is not a great sign. That is not a great sign. If that turns down, that means you need that thing to turn back up. IWM is seeing the reversal fully play out. We're not really seeing the weakness come in. Very good. Okay, awesome. So IWM was the one that I actually really liked here. This is one that I have pulled up on my other computer just because I like this rejection a lot. And so I'm really paying attention if this can get above that 5. If we can break through and see something different, maybe we even break through and we get that to retest and then go up. That 5 to go like this and start going that way. We see price action go like this, retest it, and then head in that upward direction. That's what I would like to see if we're going to see upside. If we're going to see downside, it's pretty simple. The 5 minutes probably going to roll over. Will that be a dramatic drop or just a higher low? We'll find out. SPY, we can still pay attention to that. I think I got some. So that's what we're looking for. And the cool thing is we did pretty much what we did last time, right? We're coming down to those areas. Now on the SPY last time, you were able to chop that low. That's a key thing there. You're able to chop that low. This time, not necessarily happening, but look how similar it is adding up to how we can head higher. It can obviously be different. It can fail. This was because of some crazy good news. but you got Nvidia coming out around the corner. We'll see what happens with that. So I do have to hop off for the day. I will be looking at Patreon, looking for these moves, see if any setups are there, talking about the weekly expected moves, possibly today, maybe tomorrow, before Nvidia earnings. So thank you guys so much for joining today. I really do appreciate it. I think it's a lot of fun and people coming in and saying that good stuff. I think you pointed out something good for Patreon, so we'll look into that. And yeah, I just got to hop off. I'm ready to go hang with the girls for a little bit, see if these things set up, take some plays. We'll see what happens. So thank you guys for being here today. Really do appreciate it. If you wanted to check over on something like Dogecoin real quick, that's fine. And Top Synopsis, thank you so much for the $1.99. Real quick, SPY, just note that that daily is curled down. We could have more downside there still, but it looks like it's really trying to base out with exactly kind of, actually pretty much exactly what we were talking about. Some kind of double bottom, some kind of divergence down there. It just happens to be in the form of a rejection at this moment. Pay attention if that 5-minute rolls down. If you want to look at Doge, I'm always down to look at Doge. I do like Doge. I think you were talking about Doge. I think you were talking about Doge. I'll look at the Coinbase one. Doge, great move out the gate here. Are we going to see that continue? Well, the daily is saying you can, right? But this is really, really high up. Are we seeing 30 minutes, or actually, no, not 30 minutes, sorry about that, 2 hour. Are we seeing that 2 hour curl up? Hey, that's good. We're reacting down to the 5, basing out around it, trying to curl up. That's fantastic, but this is kind of drawn out. So I want to see that 4 hour. The 4 hour has confirmed up. That's saying, hey, it could be go time for the next move. Just note, if that goes up like this and drops, that 4 hour could create the divergence. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. So if you look over at Bitcoin, we're noticing that now this is holding up even better. You're kind of more seeing squeezing, okay? You're not necessarily seeing that pull back like Doge. But if this does cross up, that would say, hey, 100,000 is on the table. Now, just note, 100,000 is one of those whole numbers. You might get above that a bit, but watch out if you see a 4 hour divergence like this, okay? That's gonna be a little bit worrisome. It just means, hey, we could see a bigger pullback and maybe this thing goes above 100,000. So we'll just look at that going forward. I think the main thing to pay attention to is still right here for the SPY. I'm just going to leave you guys on a 5-minute and I have to take off. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking, subscribing, the donations today. You guys are fantastic. Lots of questions, lots of charts. I appreciate it. It makes my day more fun in the morning. And I hope you guys have a great one. Good luck with your trades. Manage risk. Trade like water. Peace out.